And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
The Millennium Falcon, a ship loved by many. One of the most popular, if not the most popular spaceship in the world, maybe than the Enterprise. A ship that people love for whatever reason, if only because they love the crew that flew in it. Wave 2. X-Wing was extraordinarily popular, is extraordinarily popular, and they have promised us fantastic things. And when they first announced it at Gen Con last year, they announced and they showed off the Millennium Falcon, and slobber was coming out of people's mouths. It was disgusting to watch the fanboyism that I exhibited, and I was excited about it. I said, even if the game is terrible, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's take a look at it. So here's the 4 ships that come in Wave 2. Now, we'll first talk about this one, because honestly, this is the one that people are going to buy, even if they don't play the game at all, and that's the Millennium Falcon. Now, I've seen some people on the internet complaining about the paint job, but for someone like me, who can't paint anything, barely can paint a wall, this is amazing for me, and this looks fantastic, and excuse me while I go play with it, but no, I mean, and the Boba Fett's iron, or his spaceship, also looks pretty cool, and I like the fact that when it flies around, it flies appropriate to the movies, where it flies like this. And then the A-Wing and the TIE Interceptor, which are small and aren't going to get as much fanfare in this game, but let's talk about them first. The first thing I want to talk about them is that they have this boost action on them. The boost action basically allows you, after you move, to then take another 1 distance action. Now that's a really big deal, and it allows you to be very maneuverable. So you can take a 5, for example, and go 5, and then at the end of your turn, you can curve as a 1. And so essentially, this is how far you can move with one of these, the TIE Fighter Advanced or the A-Wing. And that is a fantastic maneuverability to have. So we look at the A-Wings. The A-Wings, their dial is full of maneuverability. They can't carry near as many things, but they're fairly inexpensive. Now, they're easy to blow up. They got shields, but they're going to go pretty fast. Some of them have some nice special abilities, but their basic maneuverability is that they're super fast. They fly around a table. They're going to get blown to snot all over the place, but I mean, this one here, you can perform actions even while you have stress tokens. A very nice person to have. Of course, you're paying 26 for that, but still, he can fly circles around the enemies. Well, maybe not. He might not be able to fly circles around the TIE Interceptors. Now, like the original TIE Fighters, these guys have no shields, but they have good firepower. 3 firepower and 3 defense. That's very nice. And a straight up fight between an TIE Interceptor and an A-Wing. I'm not sure who I would put money on. Probably the TIE Interceptor, just because of the heavier firepower that they have. And they also have folks who have very good special abilities. I mean, this guy here, the one I like, Fel's Wrath, even though he has a low number here, when the number of damage cards assigned to equals or exceeds your hull value, you're not destroyed to the end of the combat phase. So he can go out with a bang. These guys have a lot of actions they can take. You can't really pump them up at all, really, but still, they're fast. On the other hand, here we have the Millennium Falcon, or the Y2-1300, and look at that. 8 structural, 5 shields. This thing is a tank. The maneuverability is not as good as you want, but simply you can fight into the enemy fighters, and you can sit there for a while, because you're going to take a lot of hit points, because you are big, so it's not like people are going to have a hard time missing you. You have a big base. On the flip side of having that big base, though, you have a completely 360-degree arc of fire, which is fantastic. So you just fly in the middle and shoot everything. People are going to like this, though, because they're going to be able to use their favorite characters, and you can also really beef up the ship. Here's Lando and Chewbacca. Come on, everyone wants to be Chewbacca flying it, or you can just be an Outer Rim smuggler. You can use multiple of these ships. Does anyone do that? I mean, that's cool, I guess, but come on, Han Solo in the Millennium Falcon. One of the best pilots in the world, and some really neat things. On the other hand, having Boba Fett and the fire spray, is also very useful. If I compare those, we'll see that Han Solo's is 46, while Boba Fett's 39. Boba Fett can outfit his ship more, but at the same time, the Millennium Falcon is a bigger ship, just with less maneuverability, and look, only 1 defense die. Boba Fett's not the only one. You can just take a regular bounty hunter flying the ship, or just some other named characters can fly the fire spray. The fire spray itself has a big base just like the Millennium Falcon, although it can shoot out the rear because of a rear gun. What's also interesting is that there are specific things that can be added to these different ships here. You can give them just a title, which gives another upgrade item to the Slave 1, or the Millennium Falcon, which gives it an extra action. There's the ion cannons, heavy laser cannons that you can put, really a nice addition to putting it on the Slave 1. The Slave 1 can also drop bombs, and the game comes with bomb templates that you can drop behind you, seismic charges or proximity mines. A very neat addition to the game, although they're difficult to use, especially when you're on a team. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the teammates get hurt by these things. But another thing people like about these big ships is that you can put co-pilots in them and add people to them. I mean, the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo piloting, and then Luke Skywalker on gunner, or just some ordinary gunner, or Chewbacca. Come on, Han Solo and Chewbacca, or Nien Nunb. I'm going to get yelled at for mispronouncing that one, since I don't regularly consult my Star Wars dictionary. But it's just neat that you can add these extra people to these big ships. Kind of weird, huh? From a collector's standpoint, the Millennium Falcon. Look, the little radar thing moves. You know, I like this. And having Boba Fett, one of the greatest of all bounty hunters, besides IG-88, a fantastic ships. But when it comes down to gameplay, I am loving these A-Wings and TIE Interceptors. I love the speed. Now, granted, they are flying balls of cotton. You shoot them, they're gone. They're like Christmas ornaments. But you have to hit us first. And I love the huge speed that they have. That's a big kick for me to be able to shoot 5 on the first turn towards the enemy. And then, seeing where the enemy is, you can move this way, move that way. I like it. They're really fun to fly. And I love the speed, you know. You know when you watch these army scenes and the big army fights the other army and the fast stuff comes ahead first, and those are the ones that get in combat first? That's the way this game is. You put the good guys on one side, the bad guys, and the A-Wings and the TIE Interceptors are streaming ahead of everybody else, shooting each other, and then the big stuff shows up. Then the Millennium Falcon comes and just grounds itself in the middle and starts shooting everything. Of course, everything starts shooting back, and the Millennium Falcons tend to die a lot in our games, but they kill a lot of things on the way out. On the other hand, the Slave 1 is a different kind of thing. Yeah, sure, it's big and it's bad and come in, but it can drop mines in spots. It's a powerfully gunned ship. It's really interesting. Which one is better? I don't know. I still like the A-Wings and the TIE Interceptors, but it's a great wave. These are 4 new ships, and let's say you've bought one of everything so far, and then you buy these 4 ships, you are going to have some glorious, fantastic battles. You really are. I mean, if X-Wing Miniatures came out with nothing else, and I know on a good authority that they are coming out with more, but if it came out with nothing else, this would be a great game as it was. Wave 2, I loved Wave 1, but Wave 2, oh, fantastic. Guys, we have a great future ahead of us with X-Wing Miniatures, but even if this is all we have, lots of fun to play with.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door!